guys, welcome back to another episode of the Prosperous Soul series. I'm so excited that you guys are back. Let's get started with episode 3. Here we go. So today we're going to go over how to have a proper reading and podcast listening habit, and I'm so excited to dive right to this episode. So let's get this party started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my story with you guys. As always, I'm going to give you guys some mindset and attitude behind how to properly have a proper reading habit, how to have a proper podcast habit, so that way you can see significant difference in yourself and in your life. And then of course, I'm going to give you guys some homework. So let's do it. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard that reading every single day is an important habit to have. I'm sure you guys also have heard that the average multimillionaire in America reads 12 books a year, right? And I know that these podcasts are also something that is really educating. You know, you can listen to a podcast from a multimillionaire and get his mindset and get his attitude. And it's just awesome that we have such amazing information right in the tip of our fingertips, and it is so awesome that we can learn from people who are in life where we want to be, how to get their mindset, and we can get it right on the internet. But if you're somebody like me, I have been listening to podcasts since I was in high school, and I have been reading books since I was 17 years old. I mean, I'm 28 now, and I think I've read over 100 books. I know for sure I read about 15 to 20 books a year, positive mental attitude books. So here's the thing, is that when I started my podcast listening habit and my reading habit, I was very young. And when I was reading and listening, it was specifically mainly to help me grow my business asset that I started to grow when I was in high school. And don't get me wrong, it completely helped me a tremendous amount, mainly because in 2 years I was able to develop a very significant asset where I was able to do a lot of great things. But in reality, looking back, my personal life and my soul was deteriorating. You know, years passed by and I was kind of riding the wave of success in my business, but my personal life was falling apart. So what ended up happening is that I started to ride in this motion, just reading just to read, listening to podcasts just to listen to a podcast, because that's what successful people do. But in reality, I was suffering from this syndrome called the check the box syndrome. And I'll give you guys a really great example on a check the box syndrome. Again, if you see me kind of going like this, it's because I take notes when I talk, because I want to give you guys the best value possible. So what ended up happening is that I kept reading, I kept listening to podcasts, kept reading, kept listening to podcasts, but my soul was deteriorating. My personal life was falling apart. And what do people tell you? Just read more, just listen more, just work harder. No, that is not the solution. If something is wrong eternally and you're just checking off a box because that's what millionaires do, that's what successful people do, I'm here to wake you up, honey. That is not what's supposed to go down. Okay? And I'm going to give you guys some examples so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. I'm going to use the gym as an example. One of the things that I noticed when I started my fitness journey back in 2018 is that so many people go to the gym and they're on their phone. They're making out with their boyfriend or girlfriend. I mean, why would you even do that at a gym? It's just like, you go and you keep going and you keep going and you still have this check the box syndrome. Like, well, I went to the gym, check. I went to the gym, check. And to be honest with you, I feel like the reason why I got so much greater results in my first year of my fitness journey, which if you guys don't know, I lost over 80 pounds in 1 year, because I went to the gym and I went there on purpose. I had this thing called mind and muscle connection. So if I was working on my biceps, I made sure that as I'm working out those biceps, I had that mind and muscle connection, because that's how you're going to see growth in your muscles. That's how you're going to see it. So let's bring it back to reading and listening. When you're reading a book just to read, just to get it out of the way, you could read 30, 40 books in a year. You can read 2, 3 books every single week. But if you don't have that mind and soul connection when you're reading a book, you're not going to see a significant difference in your life. So for me in my journey, when I started a serious personal growth journey 2 years ago, I said, you know what? I am going to really dig deep in this personal development thing. I'm not playing. I'm ready to go. So what I did is that I stacked up all the books that I wanted to read in 2018. And here's a couple of things that I did because I wanted to change my mindset from a check the box reading habit to developing a mind and soul connection reading habit. And it is the same thing with podcasts, but I really want to focus on reading because reading is what really changed me a lot. I want to give you guys 4 ways that I was able to build up towards developing that mind and soul connection as I started to grow myself in my reading habits. So let's do it. Number 1 is take the mask off and be honest with yourself, okay? So many people are wearing masks. So many people are being so fake. And you're looking in the mirror and you're looking at somebody that you're not. Take off the mask and be honest with yourself. We all have flaws. We all are sinners. It's not easy. It takes work. Figure out what it is that you need to change to be better. Number 2, get rid of that ego, sis and brother. Get rid of the ego and be humble. I had one of the biggest egos of all time. I felt so entitled because of my status, because of how much money I was making, because I'm from the Bronx, I got out the hood, and look at me, and blah, blah, blah. I had a very big ego. So what I ended up doing was I put my ego to the side and I practiced humility on a serious basis. I mean, it got to a point where a lot of the people that actually knew me couldn't believe the things that I was doing. But when you are humble, you start doing things like asking for help, changing your environment, and start to do things that will benefit you and who you want to become than to benefit the ego that you keep feeding all these years. Number 3, when you are reading, allow those words to change your heart. Allow the words that you're reading to change your mindset. Give it permission to change you. Give it permission to enter your heart and your soul. People will see a significant difference in your life when you allow the words that you're reading to change you. And number 4, allow that change to be a blessing to other people, because what happens is that when you start reading and you allow it for it to change your heart and your soul, your true authentic self starts to come out, and it starts to be such an amazing journey that you can use your authenticity, your new self, to bless other people and inspire them to be authentic, to be real, and to be true for themselves. Now, here's the even greater news is that when you start to change these ways to help you read on a more productive way, some amazing things are gonna happen to you guys. I am telling you, and I wanted to share with you guys things that I saw in my life just by switching that mindset. So number 1, obviously you guys know I went on a really serious fitness journey. I actually lost 80 pounds in my first year of fitness training. And now I'm in the process, once everything gets back to normal, to get ready to start my prep for a fitness competition, which is so wild and so crazy. So how awesome is that? The second thing is that I stopped seeking validation from other people, and I started to seek my worth and my true self from my Lord and Savior and God. And that completely changed everything for me, because when I read a book just to check a box, it was to impress people that I was reading, but ultimately God sees what I'm doing. So I went from trying to impress people to trying to impress God. And because I know that God is watching, I made sure that I was reading with intention and purpose. So that was a major shift for me. The third thing is, I think this is going to get you guys really excited, was that when I started my journey of really changing my mindset, I went from having 2 streams of income to now it is 2020. I have 5 streams of income, and now I'm growing it to having over 8 by the end of 2020. How incredible is that? Don't you guys want to experience these things? Don't you guys want to do this? Like, I'm telling you this, I'm sharing from experience, and I want you guys to enjoy the fruits of your labor when you start reading with intention and purpose. This is amazing. Because I saw myself the way that God saw me, because I was changing so much, because my soul was changing so much, no longer attracted to environments that that tried to control me and manipulate me. So I started to attract some amazing people in my life and started to attract greatness in my life. Get over environments that no longer serve this new changed soul of mine. Finally found true fulfillment in myself. I finally found true fulfillment in my work, and I finally was able to rekindle my purpose in life again. All because I changed my mindset from checking a box and reading to having a mind and soul connection and having purpose and intention when I read a book and when I listen to a podcast. How awesome is that, guys? So hopefully that helped you guys in a major way, and I'm so excited to see you guys start changing your mindset from a checkbox mindset to a mind and soul connection mindset as you read your next book and you listen to your next podcast. Guys, so now I want to give you guys some homework so you guys can start experiencing this incredible mindset shift and ultimately start living a prosperous soul that would translate into a prosperous life. So let's do it. First homework that I will give to you guys is make a promise to yourself that you're going to do the top 4 things. Be honest with yourself. Practice humility. Get rid of the ego. So that way you guys can get ready for what's to come. Next thing is disclaimer. Get ready to feel different. Get ready to feel like an alien. Because what happens is that when you start to shift your mindset, what used to feel familiar will no longer feel familiar. It'll actually feel very weird. So either people around you are going to have to keep up, or you're going to have to ask God to lead you towards people that is leveling up just like you. And the last thing is I want to give you guys some recommendations of some books that helped me a tremendous amount. Now, again, I have so many. So if you want to reach out to me and ask me for more, then that's great. So for the ladies, I recommend Captivating. This book is amazing, and it actually talks about unveiling the mystery of a woman's soul. So I think this is extremely appropriate for what we're talking about here. The next book, to be honest with you, I just started reading this book. My great friends, Noble and Kathy, actually were the ones that recommended this book to me. But you know what's so funny is that as I'm reading this book, I'm like, holy crap. So what was going on with me was I was increasing my emotional intelligence. I just didn't know it was called that. So that way you guys don't have to deal with like, what am I going through? What's going on? What you're going to go through is an increase of an emotional intelligence. Call it the EQ. So this book is awesome. Emotional Intelligence 2.0 will definitely help you understand what's going on as you start to experience this incredible shift. And the last book, because you're going to need it, Boundaries, people. Yes. And if you know me, I am the queen of setting boundaries, okay? Like, nobody dares to step over them. Okay. So that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do hope that this episode added some value to you guys, opened up your eyes to really understand what is going on. Why have I been reading and I haven't been seeing progress in my life? And I really do hope that now you can take those action steps so that way you can see a significant difference in your soul that will lead you to a prosperous life. I love you guys so much. Make sure you tune in next week on our next episode. If you guys really enjoyed this video and it added value to you, share with a friend, like, and comment what was your favorite part and what are some books that you either started reading or you're going to start reading. I love you guys so much. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week on the next episode. Have a great day. Shh.